Do you want to go into a different reality? Do you want to shift into something completely different right now? I'm going to talk to you in this video about how things work for us as energy fields. This is simple. Yes, it's science. No, I don't have all the answers. But I'm going to tell you something that you probably already know. But we're going to reinforce something and take it to that next level because it's time. You don't have a lot of time. Don't miss out on this opportunity, this amazing time period in our lives where things are shifting in an amazing way. At least for the next 4 years, we're going to experience some major shifts. I want you to go into a higher place within this, not to get sucked down into it. That's where the split happens. That's where the new earth happens. Join me in that. You're ready to go there? Let's talk about shifting into that new earth. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through the fears and live an amazing life. I am filming the final exercise of my workshop, Shift into the New Earth. So I thought I'd dress up a little, and I thought I'm going to have a talk with you today, because what does Shift into the New Earth mean? Why do we want to go there? Because we're not enjoying the ride here. We do part of the time and then we don't. We're always seeking to feel better, to be happier, to get things, to, heal ourselves, to, have better relationships. It's all density. We're not going into that space where all things are possible. We don't even believe all things are possible. We think we're human beings. Sure, you are here at this moment. But you, the power of all that is just expressing itself as this. That's it. This is sort of fun because this is what we get to break through. Break through fear, right? My first course, my 5-star breakthrough course, what do I teach people? It's going to be there. This is an experience. You don't shift out of it. You shift into something else. Right? When I say you don't shift out, that's an energy field that you'll always participate in. Why? Because we're one. You can't escape it. You don't go from one energy field to another. It's a shared energy field. You shift into different frequencies within the energy field. That's all we are. We're just frequencies experiencing vibrations, different forms, experiencing being a tree or a bird or a human being, and what's that game that goes with that? What do I get to experience by being a human or a bird? This is great stuff. Great stuff. How do you shift into something completely different? Now, I just did an exercise in the Shift into the New Earth workshop where I demonstrate to you, and I actually have a whole meditation in there. I demonstrate to you that shifting happens here, and through here, this is shifting out here. So when I put on my rose-colored glasses, I'm demonstrating to you that all I'm doing is seeing everything differently, and thus my world just changed. Completely. I'm not blocking it. I'm not saying it's not happening. You have your head in the sand. Now, when somebody says that you have your head in the sand because you see things rosy, all they're saying is, I choose to see the world as destructive and evil and bad, and you don't. And they believe it so adamantly that they think if you think anything positive, of course, what does that do for them? Makes them feel bad, right? Then they're the bad guy for thinking anything negative. So what do they want to do? They want to criticize you for being, Pollyanna. So somebody called me a Pollyanna a few months ago. I said, thank you. I didn't realize it was so positive. But that's how I see the world. So everything that's happening that appears to be bad, I don't see it as bad. I see it as part of the pain that we've inflicted on ourselves, that we're working through, and that through those situations, there are heroes and opportunities for massive change. Anybody who has sacrificed themselves, during turmoil on this planet, especially here in the United States, we're going through some big changes. They're heroes. So those people who chose to transition into that amazing space, it's not a bad place to go for anybody, may have said, I'm going to be this catalyst for positive change. And thus they participate and entangle in a situation so that it brings attention to the rest of us that this is not acceptable behavior. And thus amazing things happen from that. And all of the people involved are participants in the change, not to be judged, even those who are inflicting the negative stuff, because that will end when we have compassion and forgiveness and we realize that this is a result of our collective human acceptance of certain things, beliefs, and separation of one another. I want to ask you right now what you would like to change in your life. What would you like to change right now? There are no limits, none. And you may be one of these people who took on huge challenges. Congratulations. I came here to be a teacher. I didn't have a sad story or sad childhood, and I've had many, many lessons and of course continue to evolve personally, spiritually. We all do. That never ends, by the way. Even on the other side, no matter how high you go, there's always something new. It would be boring if we didn't have that. We love to create and evolve. That's what the one does. It's expanding. Did you know that galaxies are expanding away from us faster than the speed of light? What? And we're not the center of that. It's expanding. Expanding into what? Infinity. Why is it expanding? Because it's still creating and creating and creating and creating. That's you. And you have free will. You have an opportunity right now to live a friggin' amazing life. Now, I had brunch with my friend yesterday, and so her industry here during this challenging time, this is 2020, toward the end of 2020, has been decimated because she's in wholesale. Decimated. People aren't buying the things that she's been selling, and they've been shutting down events and all kinds of things, right? I said to her, do you know this is probably the biggest, amazing, positive turning point for you? You're established in your business. You have amazing contacts. All you have to do is say that we're not going back to that world that was a lot of work for her anyways. We can transform that into something completely different now because we're functioning different as people, and that could be a very positive thing. What do you want to do with all of this? Because there are amazing opportunities right now. There are people that are flourishing abundantly, and a lot of people are doing it in a positive way, going to sustainable products and going vegan and perpetuating all this positive, just choices and movement of doing good things for our planet. And I've noticed even some of the big manufacturers are saying, hey, we're making sustainable things. We're doing organic things. They want to get on the bandwagon, even if their motives are profits. I'm okay with that because we as a collective positively making positive decisions are affecting their decision making. And it doesn't matter what their intentions are as long as what they're doing is going into that higher space, right? Because eventually it's going to feel good for them too. And they're going to realize, you know what, we're doing really good things. It's not just about money, but we can have both. Not to be judged. This is how we as a collective change the world. When we make our own private decisions, like I said, do you have one plastic cup that you use? One plastic cup do you order from any place? You are one person, but there are a million other people out there with one plastic cup and a million cups floating out in that ocean. You never use a plastic cup, and if a million other people and a million other people, there will be no manufacture of plastic cups anymore because there will be no use for them. And then the manufacturers will be bragging, hey, look, we have these beautiful ceramic cups, which is what I use over and over and over again. And if I do get a paper cup or whatever, believe it or not, I actually wash it out and reuse it over and over again. Because they're pretty sturdy. They're coated with wax. Who knows what leaches into our food, but I reuse things that are as organic and sustainable as possible. Everything counts. All right? Everything counts. That choice that you make about what you use in your home, on your body, the judgment about another person, every little thing counts. And this is how we shift into the new earth. Are you doing that? Because it's go time, my friend. It's go time, and there's no more screwing around. There's no more pointing fingers, blaming anybody. You wield the power. That one plastic cup can stop all of it. Everything you do, every choice you make is so powerful. And so when something happens and it's in our face, we have to say, how did we as a society allow ourselves to get to that point where somebody would be so angry or have so much power that they could be destructive? How did we allow that? We have to look at that and say that's not a person, that's a collective. That's a collective. And so we as a collective are saying, we want peace. I'm going to tell you another thing too. I saw in Turkey, and that is the protesters, I don't know how many there were, but there were a lot, just stood in silence. I thought that was beautiful. Gandhi did that and took out an entire nation, the UK. Because what are you going to do with peaceful people, right? But if you are no longer battling something, it dissolves. What's going to happen? If you're doing anything, battle nothing and go into peace. Be a completely new movement of peace and compassion for those who we have created as a collective, and the dividing lines and the separation. It's going to be tough because we have to go into that Christ-like mentality of, please forgive them, they know not what they do. Right? Wow. That's powerful. Can you do that? Yes, you can. It's going to be tough because we get angry. You're the problem. No, we are not a problem. We are just creating things on a dense level, and we're ready for that change. You can change everything in your life today. You see it differently. You learn from it. You contribute positively. And everything you do, every thought, every action is thoughtful, mindful. That's what that means. From everything that you purchase, to what you put in your body, to the words you say, to the thoughts, to the beliefs. No more blame, no more judgment. It ends here. Are you ready for this? This is huge. If you are not ready for it, then you will remain in the dense earth, and that solves no problems. There's no learning in that. It's just perpetual karma coming back and saying, I'm making the same decisions, same mistakes, just keep myself here. And there aren't really any mistakes, but there's no progression, there's no evolution. You're not learning, you're not raising your frequency. You must raise your frequency if you want to go into the new earth. It's required. That's what it is. It's just a higher frequency of love. We find no fault in one another. No fault in one another. If you're in that space, you're not ready yet. I think you are ready. I think you're ready to shift into that. What does that mean? You've got to let it go. You've got to let it go and say, I would not project on somebody else that which I wouldn't like for myself. Because we all make mistakes as humans, right? We all do stupid stuff, right? I would never want to be judged. That feels really bad because you know you didn't do something very nice, or you said something or whatever. And when somebody comes at you and negatively, that's a double negative. Somebody said double negative, positive. No, double negative in that world is a negative. What do you want to choose today? Whatever you believe and think, shifts you into that reality. It is that simple. That is not ignoring what's going on in the world. It's taking us into a cause and effect that makes sense, that changes the world, that says we're ready to let go of how we treat each other badly, and that we're going to have compassion and understanding for the hatred and all the things that go on out there. We have to love. And I know it's tough, and some of you may be very uncomfortable with me saying that. Why? Because it's difficult for human beings to let go of their own density to find compassion for others in the low density. But if you don't do it, you're right down there with everything else that you think is wrong. Are you ready to shift into that new earth? Come on over and take a new earth workshop. Shift into the new earth workshop. I'll have it, if you guys are signed up for my Manifest Anything free email list, you'll get that announcement and a discount. I'll put it down here in the description. It's time to start making decisions. I've given you so many practices in the workshop to help you work on it every day, because we are a program. That's an energy field. It's powerful. You never leave the energy field. We never leave our energy field because we're one. It's impossible. But we can shift into that higher frequency within it. But that means you still participate in everything else. This is why it's so important for all of us to shift higher, because when you do, you affect everything. You affect the lower one. So if you're thinking negatively of the lower, you're down there with them. And so it just perpetuates. It just keeps going. The more you raise your frequency and you go up here into this new earth, the more that will dissolve. It won't be a part of your reality, and you will actually generate higher frequencies that the lower frequencies will pick up on, and they will start to make better decisions. And it won't be accepted. We will not accept certain behavior, but we're going to treat it differently, including how we handle our criminals and all that other stuff. It's going to be handled very differently, with more compassion and saying, you know what, how did this happen in the first place? It's not about punishment. It's about love and forgiveness. It's about saying, okay, how do we shift into that new earth, and how do we help others with our own frequency and energy, not judgment or telling what they should do or forcing meditations on them or watch Landria's videos. No, it's allowing them the choice, but also showing them that there's another way. But it starts with raising the frequency of the planet, one light being at a time. And so many of us are still looking out there. We're going to cure this, we're going to cure this. When it starts right here, just one. If every person did that, everyone would shift in, and everyone can shift in. There's no limit. There's no limit to that. Don't be left behind. It's a choice. No one gets a choice over another. Everyone has equal opportunity. Can you love your enemy? There aren't any. There aren't any. Are you ready? Okay, guys. Yes, you can share these videos. Please subscribe. I want to get this word out. Please post these anywhere you want. Share this word with people. Allow them to make their own decisions. We are not here to broadcast anything of what should and shouldn't be done. That's the whole purpose of the experience here, is our choices. But you get to decide if you go into that loving, amazing space. And it's happening right now. There's a huge shift happening. Fall of 2020, a huge shift is going to happen. And if you don't feel it, then you have to ask yourself why. So before the end of 2020, if you're not experiencing not just a shift of what's going on out there, because there's going to be some major stuff going on out there. I gave my prediction. There's going to be something major happening. But when it happens, you will be able to shift to the higher frequency and experience a completely different adventure, no matter what that is. Because what you do in here creates that, right? When it happens, I see. We're shifting out of stuff that doesn't work. Yay. Okay. Evolution. People have stepped up to the plate to be heroes, to bring it to our attention that we do not accept this way of life anymore. What we can do about it? Amazing things. All right, go visit LandriaOnkka.com. If you guys see this, this is my business internet free workshop. You are whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.